call this meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. This is a regular meeting of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale, Tuesday, July 22nd. I ask all council members, please make sure your microphones are on. The red light is on as well. I ask everyone now to please rise to salute our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please. Here.
Councilmember Giusti.
Here.
Costa.
Here.
D'Amato.
Here.
Delariva.
Here.
Hudson. Here. Sondemire.
Here. Also with us, our municipal clerk, Jane McCarthy, and our borough attorney this evening, Tracy Wang. It's an official meeting of the governing body of the Borough of Bloomingdale on January 4th, 2014. The date, time, and place of this official meeting was faxed and mailed to all local news media posted here at Borough Hall. There's no need at this time for an early executive session. Our first item up is a presentation by Community Electronic Information Systems. Marcy, I'd ask you to please come on up. You can pull up a chair, you can stand, whatever you're most comfortable with. If everyone recalls, at our last meeting, I had brought up the electronic billboard or signboards that we may want to look at in our community. And Marcy represents that company again, CEIS, Community Electronic Information Signage. I invited Marcy here this evening to give us a little background on the program and see if it's something that the governing body soon in the near future would like to move on with. So welcome. Could you just give us an introduction, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, my name is Marcy Kretzmer. I am the Director of Sales for the CEIS company. Unfortunately, I'm going to say this right up front, my father is normally with me giving the presentations. Unfortunately, he was not able to be here tonight. So going forward, if there's any questions that I cannot answer, I will get back with you no later than tomorrow. Going forward, this is a free program to any municipality that qualifies. You were one of the first rollouts of our program back in January. And what we've had devised is a gateway sign that says, "Welcome to the Borough of Bloomingdale." And it is a digital face that is 6 feet high and 16 feet wide. It is a panel that is on a cement or stone wall, whichever fits into your aesthetics of your community. There are 7 slots on the digital sign. One of the slots is actually giving to your municipality for any pertinent information that you need to get out to your citizens. As I am from Bethel, New York, we had our 100-year flood, 2 of them back-to-back within 5 years. I felt had we had these in place, it would have been just another communication vehicle to our citizens to get out where to find supplies, where the town hall meetings are, and so forth. With that being said, I also had a small business for 6 years. With the other 6 slots, we offer affordable advertising to your local merchants. If we are not able to fulfill our debt service with the local merchants, we do go out for a national advertising like McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts or so forth. These LED signs are beautifully landscaped. Inside the landscape, there is a camera that is monitored by our digital manufacturer for a 24-hour period. So if there is an LED light that goes out, or one of the smaller panels that go out, or any vandalism that may occur, it triggers a notification to our company. And at that time, we do have technicians in the area that will come in within 24 hours and fix the signs. The best part about the signs, they are hooked up to the Amber Alerts, Silver Alerts, National Weather Service. So what happens is, if anything happens where the child is abducted, the Amber Alert company comes in, takes over the sign for a period of 24 hours, and it's a radius of 50 miles in your area. And then from there, it's up to you as far as like how long, to keep the Amber Alert in place. Any questions so far?
So there's 7 panels?
There's 7
7
slots,
panels.
yeah.
One the borough gets for our notifications, public events, emergencies, etc. 6 are for advertising, which you market, you do everything soup to nuts. And that's how you obviously make it free for us.
Correct.
You pay for the install. There's zero obligation to the borough.
Zero. Except for one small exception, that if it does end up on your property, we just would like the Parks Department to just maintain the landscape. Yeah, and that's it. That's a small fine print.
And if it doesn't end up on borough property, where we had to get an easement or permission from a private landowner to do it.
Well, that's actually my father's forte. He's been in the sign industry for 42 years, and that's what he does, is he works with private entities, and what happens is he enters into a 20-year lease agreement with that private owner. And then it has to be on commercial or industrial property, especially here in New Jersey. And if it does end up municipal property, then we do enter into an operating agreement with you. They'll be entered in any way, but in the operating agreement, it will last 20 years. So it's still the same agreement that we have with the landowner that we would have with you, and we would still offer you a percentage of the net revenue as well, as we did for the landowner as well.
There's a minimum of 2?
There's no minimum. It just depends, kind of what is sustainable in the area. And by that, I really mean like the traffic counts, being able to, make sure that we are able to maintain the advertisers. 1 is fine. We have some municipalities that are asking for 6. So it just
I thought I read the package that there was a 2 minimum.
We kind of changed that because we started working with smaller populations,
Sure.
To where, 2's a little bit too many. It also depends, we can do a one-sided or a double-sided sign. It just depends on where the property is located, visibility, and so forth.
Do you run electric as well to it?
We do, yeah. If there's electric there, great. If not, we do run it, so absolutely.
Is that maintained over the internet? I mean, our portion where we can just update it. We don't have to go there physically.
No, that's back in the olden days. It's like new age now. So no, it's all Wi-Fi. You can whoever you designate to enter your data can either do it from their phone, home, office, whatever. So it's just as easy as sending an email. You're able to put graphics up there. You're able to do movable graphics. We are not. Some of the municipalities kind of stray away from that just because some citizens may think it's a little bit distracting.
The 7 slots, they rotate, is that what it is, or
They
is
do.
it 7 permanent?
They rotate every 8 seconds. So what happens is, like McDonald's ad will come up,
Right.
it'll be static for 8 seconds, and it'll fade out. There's no, we don't do movable, graphics under it all. So it's just static for 8 seconds, and then it will fade out. And then if you have a festival coming up, the festival will come up and it'll fade back out. So
Or limit of how much text is in that?
there's no limit, but being a graphic designer, I just, less is more,
Right.
pretty much,
Right, because you
and
got
you don't want people
yeah,
really to,
yeah.
read, so there's no guidelines as far as that. It's basically works the same as, with ads, on the signs and, on the interstate and so forth. With going with the lighting and everything, a lot of these visual signs that are on the highways, you'll see that the brilliance of them are almost blinding. We actually have a specific software that is devised to work with the sunlight, so you will not have that brilliance. It'll kind of dim, with the sun against it and so forth. And then another obstacle that a lot of people, may raise is, traffic hazards or so forth. I have, which I'll leave a couple of these booklets in here. There is extensive traffic studies on our organization, which is Outdoor Advertising of America. Federal Highway Commission, they've done extensive studies, and 2 states actually have done extensive studies that says, these movable signs or digital static signs do not cause accidents at all.
Can the different signs be programmed with different advertising for
Yes,
us?
I was just going to ask that.
I'm sorry?
Can each sign have different
Yes,
advertising?
absolutely.
With put something up here behind it, and then the other side of town. we can advertise it.
Can a double-sided sign run different things at the same time?
Yeah, the digital is so versatile, that we can even, as advertisers, run like a one-day sale, a weekly sale, a monthly sale. I mean, and you can change, whatever festival. If you have a festival on Friday and you need to, put it in like today or a year from now, I mean, you can plug in a lot of days ahead of time even, and it's just like a little timeline on there. You just kind of.
Now, your local advertising or commercial, let's talk about local pizzeria. What kind of contracts are they? Are they long-term, short-term? What do you do with them?
Well, perfect world would be year contracts, but, it's whatever, we negotiate with the business person, like like a pizza place, wants to get rid of their pepperoni pieces per day, one day pepperoni pieces per, so it can be very versatile, there's no set limit on the contracts.
If we had more than one spot we needed for a week, we'd have to buy that advertisement spot for the second one, and then the one that's free for us. But the second space would be, we'd have to pay for you at that point, advertisement line.
That's something that we can work in the operating agreement. This really hasn't been raised yet, but that's actually probably a question for
Mike, I'm sorry, do you mean our free panel? Our
I think he's talking the same
If
thing.
we had,
We want a second panel.
if we had two things going on this week,
Got it.
we only had one thing, we wanted to use another one of the lines
On the same board?
on the same board.
Right.
We'd have to buy that. My question would be something we purchase whenever, or something we.
Right. But our panel would change each. Oh, okay, so you really have one panel.
Yeah.
Now,
Good question.
I was just going to ask that.
I would love to say yes.
Has some references,
I would
but
love to say
Jersey
yes.
just started.
Very similar to the college down the other end, I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's just a red light. These are.
It's digital, it's the
Yeah,
whole.
I showed you guys pictures, and I think I see Marcy bought the same brochure Ray has now in his possession. I'm showing you what it looks like. It does look like a mini billboard, but less.
You know what, I'm going to pass
Where?
this around. This is actually the style that we are actually going to go with.
Is there, do you have a website?
We do.
And is there some actual moving examples on the website that we can look at?
I will forward you this new website that we've been working on to upload it. It's not actually on our website per se, but it's a link that I can direct you to. And it is actually a sign that we've done in Texas, in Henderson, Texas, so that you can see, and I will forward that to you, hopefully tonight or
Okay,
tomorrow.
And it'll actually show
It
the
will,
moving?
yes.
Because I would like to see
Yes,
that.
Right.
yeah, it's
That's
very
great.
visual, and that's what
But
it's
since you have my email, so send that to me, and then
Okay.
I'll share it. Back to the question someone had asked, we got off topic, what was the question? Before we got off topic on
Second one.
I'm sorry?
Second one.
No, not the second panel. It'll come back to me.
Amber takes over the whole panel.
It does.
Including the,
Oh, no. Okay.
only our panel?
It'll take over the whole thing, unless you guys specify that you still want your court open a little,
The
But
question was,
including the advertisers?
Yes, we knock off the advertisers, we credit them for the time lost on there.
Okay.
the question was asked about when we could see live references, and Marcy did provide me with, but there was nothing real close, because you're just tapping the Jersey market now, I believe that was.
We are, we've been to many cities within the last couple of months. We just really launched this in January. We have a lot of interest, but just no signatures on the operating agreements yet.
Where's the closest one? You gave me a few that have been live. Is there any? Pennsylvania, New York, wasn't it?
New York, my hometown is still in the process. Hopefully this fall, we will absolutely get ours in the ground. Niagara Falls actually has their operating agreement in hand. There's a city down in Poconos that just called us last week that we have a meeting here.
And what happens if we do an operating agreement, you're ready to go, we have our locations, easements, whatever we need, and you can't sell the ad space? Well, then what happens?
That we should probably, that my father always says it's not an issue. We'll definitely get the advertisers, whether it's national or
Yeah,
outside the
Applebee's or
area.
Chili's or-
Yeah.
How long does it take to build?
Well, from start to finish, probably about 30 or 60 days as far as like when you guys sign the operating agreement. We have to get, local permits and state permits and everything. can either do it versatile or they actually, or virtual, I'm sorry, they actually even have offered to come, to municipalities and sit with the person one-on-one. So, yeah, and that's the cost. They're all,
What's the process for deciding where they go and how they're going and stuff?
Okay, well, you guys can discuss kind of what your thought process is, just keeping in mind it has to be commercial, industrial, traffic count, so forth. And then what we do is we take your zoning map, whether it's online or on paper, and we look to see, kind of where we think, and then we just kind of work together as a team and just kind of figure it out from there.
After the operating agreement is signed.
So after the operating agreement is signed.
And it's operating agreement has the clause for us to cancel every 12 months. Right?
Cancel every 12 months?
12 months is out.
Municipalities have that right to cancel any contract every 12 months. Is that in there? We have the ability to cancel our agreement. I guess that's
Well, your contract. Our garbage contract's 5 years.
Well, I guess that's the question.
Well, our attorney would review the
contract.
agreement.
What is,
It's 20 years.
20 years.
20 years. 20 years. And the reason for that is it takes us about 7 years to break even, so, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not looking
Nope,
to
nope.
Our attorney's
to
review.
cancel after
Just
a
ask,
year.
'cause it's,
But
yeah,
after
I mean,
year
it's,
7,
yeah, well,
maybe we'll
hopefully
look
there's
at-
enough, if that revenue comes in, you guys won't want to cancel.
Right.
But it's.
We hope the public service providers. But again, our attorney review all the legal documents. It's one of the spots I like to do product, commercial product. We have, last night, I can see one on Main Street by Food World, I can see one by Firehouse in Union, and one at Borough. The things we got to offer, schools. That's what traffic, they want traffic, so.
did I miss this question? If you don't sell advertising space immediately on it, can we use more panels?
That's a negotiation thing that I have to ask my father about as far as.
Now, do you go live before you've sold that space? In other words, let's say it's operational. We have our one panel. You've only sold 2 panels. You go live right away with what you sold. So we don't have to wait for all 7 to be sold.
Yeah,
You go
not
live.
at all, no. Not at all.
I'm sure there'll be more questions.
No, because we would film, with public service announcements or, something like that, so.
In what you sent me, was the agreement was in there, wasn't it?
I believe so,
Yeah.
yeah.
If I can forward that to our attorney for review. I'd ask Government Ops, John, you're the chair, to, talk about it, talk to the chief of police on some of the locations we mentioned. I'm sure, Marcy, there'll be more questions on our end. And I think it could be beneficial, but there are some concerns, but we just have to deliberate about it and go from there. But I'll respond to you as soon as I can, before the middle of August, per se, just to give you an indication of what we think we're doing.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions before Marcy goes? Again, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
And,
I really appreciate
Yeah,
it. But I will leave you.
Yeah, please. I had the one and I'm sharing it. Thank you very much. And like I said, I'll reach you within 2 weeks, we'll speak. You have anything else for us?
Thank you.
I can't find that agreement, I'll email you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And if you email that website link so I can get to
I will
Dawn.
do that, absolutely. Yes.
Thanks, Marcia.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, I need a motion to open to early public comment. Who makes that motion? Sorry, Gasky, seconded by D'Amato. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak to an agenda item, please come on up, state your name and address for the record. Did you tap the mic? I had trouble here. I just want to make sure.
Linda Huntley, 86 Avenue. The developers bring the picture.
Yes.
Does that include?
It's really just memorializing what the planning board has done. It identifies the amount of bonds that need to be posted. It identifies the escrow that needs to be posted. It remedies and terms of any violations or stop work orders on the project. It memorializes all the conditions and approvals of the planning board. It calls for a pre-construction meeting. It ensures compliance with all state, county, and local ordinances and regulations. And it proposes a timeline by which the improvements are to be completed so that the project does not come to a standstill. And I believe, it's a 12-month limitation. But that's pretty much the gist of it.
Are you going to be holding a public meeting on that, or just the planning board?
Well, the planning board had their process of hearing the application. This is just a resolution.
Because I believe that normally you would have, the jurisdictions have to hold a public hearing prior to approving the development agreement.
I'll defer to our attorney on that.
We do that, but I don't believe that's standard practice that, because there is a hearing before the planning board and the developers agreement should really just be to memorialize those conditions to the agreement.
I can give you what I have, what I found.
Yeah, please.
I don't know if this necessarily applies to New Jersey, but it says that the secondary to public hearing should be held.
All right, well, we'll review, but as Tracy points out, there was multiple meetings at the planning board level, for the public process, so, and this is just memorializing all those conditions.
There were 4 meetings.
Excuse me?
4 meetings on public hearing.
4 meetings?
Yes.
It's notification of the 200
This
people.
is to put on before the agreement is approved.
Excuse me?
That states before the agreement is approved.
Before the developers agreement. All right, well,
I don't know if it's applicable to New Jersey or not.
we've already knocked on the resolution. If we need to do anything, we can rescind and have a public hearing, but I'll wait for the attorney's statement on that.
Okay. As far as the purchase of the Ram truck and the Mason dump.
Yes.
The back body.
Yes.
A couple of questions. First of all, who is paying for this? Is it the municipal expenditure?
These are all DPW vehicles paid for out of the recent bond that was adopted last meeting.
Okay. Has the purchasing agent reviewed the agreements?
The qualified purchasing agent has, and QPA has, and these are also under the Somerset County Cooperative.
Okay. Who is the director of public works?
The director of public works is our superintendent.
How can we address the superintendent and director of public works?
It's the same individual. I mean, by code,
I told the director of public works used to be our person, that was different.
no, the director of utilities was the business administrator. Our code, I don't think, ever specifically referenced director of Department of Public Works.
Deputy superintendent.
Yeah, with DPW superintendent, so that language, I can review Tracy, but they're cooperative purchases.
Okay, and the same thing for as far as DPW superintendent and the director of public works for the paving.
Yes, the basic paving is the Morris County Cooperative via Tilcon. Again, design reviewed by engineer, as well as DPW, QPA, etc. The certification process.
Okay, for the flood mitigation, doesn't specifically state that the purchasing agent will review it, and it says you're saying that it is below the bid threshold, which I don't know how that is. It's 36,000, I think, is above the bid threshold.
No, with the QPA, it's 36, yeah. Well, no, the estimate's 35 on one, I believe, 28,000 on the other project.
So there's 2 different ones that you're hiring a person for?
No, it's the one contractor for 2 separate flood mitigation projects. And they were both over, gosh, one was quoted last year with multiple quotes, so.
So there's 2 contracts this person being awarded?
Yes,
And then you have to combine them according to the contract score.
but with the bid process, we're awarding two Cohesco for those flood mitigation projects.
You said you didn't bid.
Cohesco, there's 2 authorizing contracts. There's 2 projects, Knowles Road and Boston Street. And individually, they're under the bid threshold.
But it's getting their over.
They're 2 separate contracts.
Yes.
But I believe the contracts law states specifically in statute that if it's by the same contract, you've got to combine them. You can't separate it.
Again, this is what reviewed by CFO, QPA, and so we're going to move along.
And they're 2 separate projects.
Combined with that.
But if the flooding is as one project. And now you're separating them, and you can't do that. You could,
No, they're two separate projects. Knowles Road culvert has always been a separate project from the Boston Street culvert. Absolutely.
but under our bond, it was one project, it was flooded.
No, under the bond, each item had its own
Right,
funding
it was
source.
one.
It's not one, no, it's not one project.
Okay, so you're saying this is Knowles and,
Knowles and Boston.
Mayor, if it is two separate projects and they are funded separately, then
Correct.
so long as each project doesn't reach that threshold,
Correct.
it's acceptable.
One is funded, Boston's funded out of the new bond ordinance, and Knowles is still funded out of the old flood.
but it was, they were both initially in one bond.
As separate funded items. It was not
But
an aggregate.
one contractor, you can't separate those two contracts, it's one
Well, quotes are
contract.
received on each individual project, so that's how they're being awarded. Not review that with finance, but it wouldn't be on the agenda if there was a problem.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you. Yes? Okay, anyone else wishing to speak to the agenda item, please?
Bill Graff, 8 Linden Lane. My comment this evening is in regard to the agenda item concerning Canada Geese. I would encourage you to take whatever action you can to either lessen or eliminate, regardless of where they are, and I'm going to speak about one area, to lessen or eliminate the impact of these unsanitary nuisances. The boat pond flock this year is probably 40 or 50 geese strong at this point. As you know, the families keep coming back and they have their young ones at the same place each year. The flock is grown. It's probably 40 or 50 strong at this point in time. Some a little more, some a little less on any given day. In regard to the playground, where it's an extremely popular playground at Boat Pond, right? Adults and children step in it, right? The droppings are all over the place. Small children, before the parents can intervene, we have seen where the kids are picking up the droppings, not knowing what they are, because the geese are all over the place. And I understand that is not necessarily a pleasant subject, but it's reality. In regard to the neighborhood surrounding Boat Pond, Linden Lane and Sandra Lane are inundated with droppings. Certainly depending on the day, depending on the hour, sometimes the flock will be up there 10, 12 times a day. Sometimes once a day. So there isn't a schedule, but you can be darn sure that if the sun is out or even if it's raining, right, you're going to see them probably more than once a day. And an individual goose defecates somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 100 times per day. Right? The cars riding over the streets, whether it's Sandra Lane, Linden Lane, Boat Drive, certainly, right, gets on the tires. People bring it up into their garages, unknowingly, stepping on it even when they get out of their cars and in their garages. So it winds up in their homes. Sidewalks and roadways are an obstacle course. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. All right, if you're walking on the sidewalk or the roadways. Yards, generally, and the closer you are to the pond, the worse it is. But yards are largely unusable. All right, simply because of the droppings. The geese love the grass. Right? So they're on the lawns. Their droppings are on the lawns. And if you're not, if you don't have the time, or if you're not out there cleaning up the sidewalk, sometimes cleaning up the roadway, sometimes cleaning up the lawns. If you don't do that, it just keeps accumulating and accumulating. And it doesn't get any better. So, in summary, any relief that you could provide to the Boat Pond area, and certainly I know there are other areas like Oakwood and probably Glacier. Any relief that you guys can provide would certainly be greatly appreciated. Thanks very
Thank you.
much.
I'll speak to the issue a little more when we get to it on the agenda. Anyone else speaking to an agenda item? Seeing no one, motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Professional reports, Jane, do you have anything for us? Tracy, do you have anything for us? Any council member? The only items I have, just marking calendars, August 23rd, 10 a.m. is our cleanup, where we meet at Sloan Park. An update on Sloan Park flood. We just received, the end of last week, permission to access the objector site to finalize surveying to now resubmit our permit process. Took a month just to get permission to go on project. So, we continue. I just wanted to state on the record a big thank you to our sewer and water department. They have been working their tails off. One with completing the curb boxes on Rafting Road, followed by a bad week of 4 breaks in town. Which again, to calm any rumors, we started flushing, ironically at the same time, but their breaks were a result of communication issues with the Verizon line from our pumping stations on Matthews towards Kent, causing back surges and pressures and things like that. But our department just did an outstanding job in getting us back in shape as quickly as they could. It was a rough couple of days.
Are we going to research Verizon caused it?
Well, come March 2015, we no longer need pumping stations once we convert to buffer water. Well, the line was repaired. The problem was solved. They are doing testing on if there's any shorts or breaks in the wire from the pump. From the tank to the pump. Yeah.
But there are things that work that caused us something. Do we have anything in place that they will reimburse us for our?
No, because it's part of the operating system. There's no, I'm sure they would deny that it was the communication that caused the problem. And we were approving emergencies tonight totaling, around the total, $7,000, $8,000, whatever it is for break. So that's a separate avenue that can review and determine. But the issue's been solved. I'm just commending our department. If the governing body wishes to do something more, you just let me know. Good news, our radios, remember last year this has been updated for a while. We were trying to get enough wattage to have radio systems that all departments can communicate with. Previously, our fire department couldn't communicate with DPW, DPW couldn't communicate with police. It's kind of crazy. We now have a system in place that was paid for largely by generous donation. The Board of Ed kicked in money as well. The repeaters have been installed. The schools have radio connection, direct connect to our police department. Salvation Army Camp is direct connect to our police department. And again, our OEM, our police, our DPW, et cetera, is all connected. I think that's 2 years in the works. That's finally up and running. It took a while to go to the FCC and get the required wattage we needed to do it. And our chief's hard work secured that project to its completion. Yeah, good news, I received yesterday, we received $75,000 grant from Office of Emergency Management via FEMA. This is not the grant we applied for $130,000 for generators, so we should know about that in the next few months. I reached out prior to receiving this notice on that grant, and we're 100% complete in our submission. It's just a matter of waiting on the authorization. This $75,000 is something we applied for previously, which originally was denied, and then they got a new funding source and are awarding this. OEM coordinator Mike Hudson, and I went this morning to Wayne to meet with the state guy who ended up not showing, but we sat with the Wade OEM and I'm meeting with him Thursday at 10 a.m. here at Borough Hall to talk about what we can apply it to. We cannot apply to the items we applied for the 130,000. 130,000 we applied for generators for the senior center and the Fireman's Hall as our shelters and a large portable generator for our sewer pumping stations. This money has to be specific for a lifeline safety component, which is police, fire, utilities, and it could be energy and power issues like generators, communications, and the like. So once I have this meeting, I'll bring it back to the council and what we want to do and where we want to apply. I'm thinking, and I'll bring it back to you after I understand it more, is get a second portable generator because we have 2 pumping stations for our sewer, on Greenland and Natalie Court. So get a second one, which would run about 20,000, and look at powering a permanent generator on the Union Ave building, which we have potential uses for, or Walston Street, where our utility sits now, to have our utility generator as well. So things we'll talk about. Communications applicable, so I got to talk to the chief if he has any items too. But we just received this yesterday of 75,000 to the borough, which we will put to real good use. Okay, just a few items I wanted to point out to you. So thank you. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? And we're approving minutes, the block party application, closure of the road for our candlelight 9/11 walk, and Brian Hoff is a junior firefighter for the fire department. And any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any business? I need someone to make a motion for resolution.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry.
that is not in order this evening, unless I do not have the text for it.
Okay, so that'll be tabled for our next meeting. Then item B is pending a second final reading and public hearing on ordinance 13/2014 speed limits in Glenwell Lake, along with the adoption of Title 39 traffic enforcement within the private association. Public notice statement, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this ordinance was posted in the municipal building, published in the Herald News. A copy to the public, and a motion may be made that it be read by
And
title.
who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
That's an ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, the County of Passaic, New Jersey, amending Chapter 7, Traffic of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale by amending Section 7-26, speed limits, and adding Section 7-41, Glenwell Lake, which provide for Title 39 enforcement authority for all roads owned by Glenwell Lake, and to reduce the speed limit to 15 miles per hour.
Thank you. I need a motion to open the public hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
All in favor? Anyone wishing to speak to ordinance 13/2014, please come on up and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved. Second.
And now I need a motion to adopt. I'm sorry, motion to close. All in favor? Who moves to adopt?
Second.
Any further discussion? Just for the record, 15 miles an hour is because within Title 39, the minimum is 25 miles per hour. So we're amending that specifically with 15 in the association's boundaries. Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Costa.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Del Rippe.
Yes.
Hudson. Yes. Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Yes, Mr. Southwell, who is the president of the Glenwell Lake Association.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Michael Southwell, with Southwood. I'm president of the Glenwell Lake Association, and I'm here in that capacity tonight. I know it's a little unusual to be speaking at this moment when the public discussion is over, but I appreciate the opportunity. I know that you board members are used to having your public coming up most of the time to complain. I'm here for the precise opposite reason. I want to thank all of you for your help in getting this accomplished at Glenwell Lake. I want particularly to thank Mayor Dunleavy for his help, and I want to want to publicly thank Sergeant Mike Boffer, who's been incredibly helpful on this. The lake, as I represent, which I represent here, really appreciates your help in getting this accomplished. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, new business. In the motion to adopt resolution for the payment of the bills 2014 7.1. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers D'Amato. Della Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes, with the exception of PO 14-00980, vote no.
Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Item B, there'll be no action taken this evening on the adoption of the PBA contract. There's a few housekeeping items remaining, but I'm confident that at our August meeting that will be adopted. Okay? The expiration is obviously 12/31/14. Discussion and action on the geese control proposed. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Jump to the geese. Adoption resolution 2014 7.2. This is execution of a developer's agreement with Quick Check Corporation. And who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
And as I stated on the record, this was a complete planning board application, publicly noticed, 4 public meetings, approved with conditions, which is what this developer's agreement is memorializing. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Della Ripa.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
D'Amato.
Discussion and action if in order to do so on the geese control program. Before I ask for a motion to adopt, I just wanted to give a little history here. For the last year and 8 months in my role as full-time mayor, I have had a bit of an education on this whole topic. Not only have I received well in excess of 50 to 60 phone calls just this year on the conditions of Oakwood Lake, Bogue Pond, Walter T. Bergen, and Delasia, due to the geese droppings. And what I've been educated and what I've learned is we have a flock of roughly 80 to 100 geese currently in town. About half of them are migratory and about half of them are permanent residents. And what has to be done is some sort of program to try to make them go away. We were working on this late winter I've been working with the Board of Health and Lisa Perry Animal Control on gathering this information. We started working late fall, early winter on, and we applied and received, it was probably on an agenda last year, permission from the state to addle the eggs, to oil coat the eggs, hire a company to do it, and that will prevent new babies from being born, because the babies who are born here return here, and those are the resident ones. The other ones migrate and don't make babies here. And the goal is to lessen future generations. That's step one. Well, we were misled by this company as far as timings and things, and I'll never forget it. It's like it was yesterday. I can show you the emails. I must have emailed the Board of Health 30 times. When are we addling? When are we addling? When are we addling? And the response was always, still cold. Still too cold at night, still too cold at night, per this company. It's that cleanup day that I'm talking probably with Dawn or someone, and I see little baby geese going in the background. And I'm like, well, I guess it wasn't too late. We missed our opportunity. So, needless to say, that company, all apologetic, and they're no longer charged. So I have researched all your mechanisms, your silhouette dogs, your grape juice sprays, your strobe light effects and whatnot to try to eliminate it. And what I've come up with is a program from a company called the Geese Police. They use border collies that will visit the borough 4 times minimum per day, 7 days per week, for as long as we want them to be. It is $425 per week. I'm asking the council to approve this. This will be paid for from the Rose Fund maintenance line. And if you do the math and you needed them here 9 months, yeah, it could be a big nut, certainly. But you need to, the contract has an out, so if after 3 months we don't see a result, there's no penalty. We cancel, we prorate, we pay for what we had. But I think, and I checked references, a couple schools in the area that they've used in Bergen County, I'm confident we'll see results. Also in this contract is the addling of eggs. So come springtime, we will addle, so we will stop forevermore future generations. The goal is, natural instinct of these geese, dogs are predators. And after a few days, over a period of time of being annoyed by the dogs, they don't feel comfortable here and want to, go somewhere else. Where they go will be our next problem. But for now, we need to deal with these public areas, which affect private areas. As Mr. Graff mentioned earlier, it's not just the parks, which are almost unusable to a certain point, where the feces is out of control. It affects the front lawns and the neighbors of any borough within a 2-block radius, and that will all be dealt with here. So it's something you hate to spend money on. It's something that frustrates me, but it's something that has to be done. Otherwise, we won't have use of our public facilities.
Does that cover all the areas we're talking about?
Yes, it covers Oakwood Pond, Lakeside Avenue area, Bogue Pond, Bogue Drive, including Sandra, and the Walter T. Bergen, and the Leisure Field, $425 per week, again, for combining all those facilities. And the addling is $100 per nest. So until we know how many nests we have, that's
$100 for that's on top of what?
on top of the $425.
Who determines how many nests? They go looking?
Well,
Just go,
no, they will tell us, and if they come back with some exorbitant number. I mean, Lisa Perry has an idea. She's our animal control, is familiar with our nest areas. I don't know the number. I mean, one I don't know what the right terminology is. One hatch of geese, could be 8 to 10 geese just in one. So I guess on nests at these locations are probably less than 10 nests.
and those nests that we know of now, what's been the practice?
Well, the babies are already done, so there's nothing in
We should
the.
go remove those nests.
Well, that's not a proposal. And you want them to be there so they come back and lay the adult to make them stop coming. They'll just build new nest. This is their grounds. This is where they want to be. And you want them to nest again, addle the eggs. The moms sit on the eggs thinking they're going to hatch. They don't. Combined with the border collies, the idea is that the nuisance will make them go away. You have to do something. Again, I researched, there's a grape juice spray. $1,700 an application. When it rains, you got to reapply. When you cut the grass, you got to reapply. And we can't get into applying that on private property. There are those silhouettes. They don't try to anybody know about. There are strobe light effects, which Councilman Costa sent me a link to, which I have researched. $400 a unit, blinking lights, which do work at night. They don't make them comfortable nesting. But our problem is not at night. Our problem is them being here in general and doing their business during the day. The problem with the motion lights too are you would need enough where it would be about half the cost of this contract on an annual basis. But my concern is those lights, which look like, solar light you buy at Home Depot to put on your path. That's what it looks like. They're disappear. They'll be vandalized, broken, thrown if they're lying in the middle of the ball field, not the perimeter of the ball field. So I'm asking the council to consider, again, it's $425 a week. It will not start until August because the geese are, and now the geese, I've learned a lot, are now molting, where they don't fly right now. They're losing their feathers, they'll fly. Come August, they're moving again. It's going to make the migratory ones not come back. The resident ones are coming.
What's the typical duration?
It will begin in August. August 1st.
What's the typical duration?
It depends on the effect. I mean, the typical duration, we want to run from August, September, October, November. If you have a winter like we had last year, then there's no need. They don't stay here. There's no water. Grass is covered with snow. Typical duration is 9 months. It's 9 months. Where you can get to a point where you hope after addling, reducing the population, are you ever going to have never again geese? I can't commit to that. But could you reduce this to, $3,000 annual expense over time because you just have your migratory ones? That's the goal.
Any guarantees, warranties, anything like that? How quickly will we see results? Right? Is it fair to go, let's try for 3 months and see how it works?
Well, that's exactly, we're not signing a 12-month contract. We're signing a contract at $425 a week, cancelable with 30-day notice.
But in 3 months, you would hope we see results.
I would say by October, we would hope for some results. Personally, I think we want to get through one addling season, but if the council chooses to do. But something has to be done.
I would agree that something has to be done. I have two concerns. One is where are these geese going to go? And I know that's something that, you said we'll deal with down the line, but,
No, I said it'll be our next problem.
well, it will be our next problem, but that's a concern to me. And
It doesn't eliminate.
the cost is pretty pricey.
On 9 months, it'd be 17,000.
Yep, 17,000 plus 100
Again, I don't know how many nests, let's say $5 grand
for
on
the
it.
avenue.
That would be 50 nests, I'd say $1,000 an hour. But I don't know.
So we don't know, so
It is.
that's another added expense, and that's quite pricey.
Right, but using your parks is priceless.
But the other side of that, too, if somebody gets sick,
Absolutely.
Right. we can't have any of that.
Absolutely.
No, it's like I said, it angers me to have to do this. It's frustrating to have to do this. But something has to be done. And, you can't shoot them. There's $10,000 fine per geese if the state will never give you a permit to do any of that. Relocating, they'll come back, netting them, trapping them, relocating, they'll be back. It's just, you gotta provide a constant nuisance so they don't remember the place and want to be back here.
Dogs hunt them down.
You can't, the dogs, I don't think the dogs ever will catch them.
They shoot them.
You know what's funny? When,
Yeah, they're border colors, so they've heard them.
what is funny, you guys remember Joe Luke, our former DPW superintendent? He lived, his backyard was unbelievable. And when he lived there and was our super, he would run his dog, he had a little Scottish dog. Every day after work, he'd run it. And we really had a huge fun. There's just one little peanut dog that did that for a while. Anyway.
Contract,
Yeah, true. Again,
Something
fully
has-
insured, professional, I checked 3 references, they said to see results. We need to.
There's a lot of things that cost a lot of money. Right?
It's frustrating.
I can point back to our flooding problem, right? About half the residents had a flooding problem, half didn't, but the town has to do something about it.
We do.
And I agree with it 100%. In this case, half the residents are having problems, we need to fix it. Even if it's a quarter of the residents.
There's a lot of kids on the playground, little kids, it doesn't make that. You don't need a little kid picking up something.
You'd be surprised, my calls are 50% park users and 50% homeowners, neighborhood homeowners, who can't, use their front lawns, can't use their side yards. Like Mr. Kraft points out, their driveways, one woman literally 4 times a day sweeping her walkway.
Oakwood is,
We're not gonna just chase them from Oakwood across the street. They're already there.
Oakwood is particularly bad
Oakwood and Borough are the worst.
yeah.
The fields haven't been so bad, but the fields have been busy. See, it's almost, the baseball players are the nuisance, the Blazers not, because that's 2 games a night, 7 days a week. Walter T's kind of quiet now. When soccer picks up, we'll have a gap, a 2-week gap for football, and then you'll see geese then. When football starts, there's feces everywhere, it's disgusting, and then after football gets rolling, it lessens. So this is really what's with the dogs. So anyway, any further discussion? That's where with my geese is true.
I'll make the motion to try it. Michelle?
Second by John, and do we have a motion? No, we didn't have a motion.
When are we gonna follow up on it?
Well, I'll follow up on weekly. I'll get all over. Plus, I'm not alone. Board of Health, real involved with me on this, and so is Lisa Fair. So, the 3 of us will stay on top. And I gotta give them a month, 4 weeks minimum to see anything.
What are we agreeing to? 3 months?
We're agreeing to an agreement at $425 a week. We're not, no.
But we have to, it's a minimum of 3 months, correct?
I mean, ideally,
But
it's
I'm
not
saying,
on
if we
the
don't see any results, you're gonna bring it back to us?
Correct.
Okay.
If you don't see the results, you just stop. I think you have a conversation, just.
The agreement I will sign is $425 a week for 9 months, but there's a 30-day opt-out for us. So I will bring it back to the council by September and let me know if we see it. You please drive by tomorrow, drive by tomorrow and see if there's a difference. But again, I'm not dealing with this alone. I have professionals helping me, Board of Health, and our animal control officer, which is all right. Agree, this has to be done.
Other towns have seen success.
Yes.
Perhaps we have some of their geese. Let's send them back.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hudson. I'm sorry.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Tomato. Delariva.
Yes.
Okay, next item. What I'm going to ask for is a motion to approve access to a borough right-of-way for Stephen Bar 1 Jeffrey Drive. We've done this plenty of times. This young family just moved in on 1 Jeffrey Drive. This is the property that kind of is a triangular, almost to Union. They want to put a fence, 4 foot, permitted, obviously, all within the rules. That'll be right along the sidewalk's edge, not, you're just by your measurement into the borough right-of-way. And we are granting permission for them to put the fence there. And obviously, like we've done before, we allow for a wall for flooding on Reed, we've done this numerous times. If there's ever need for borough access, then that's up to you. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, the answer is issue permit once we give the blessing. Of course. All right, so that's what we're doing. So who makes that motion to approve this right-of-way access?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Next item, appointment of William Steenstra Jr. as a member of our Community Emergency Response Team, known as CERT, for a 1-year term expiring, I'm giving it 4 months per year, tough. No, I'm kidding. Till 12/31/14. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second?
And any discussion? Other than thanks Bill Jr. for serving, and all in favor?
Aye.
Next item, motion for resolution 2014-7.3. This is amending our policy manual. You've all been commenting on it. This is just, in my opinion, a quick housekeeping item. The policy manual, when it comes to discipline, is kind of, it refers to the word supervisor. And I'm just changing that word to superintendent. And the reason being is that one of our departments, we have 2 supervisors, a foreman and a superintendent. Actually, 2 of our departments. And the problem is those foremen are union members. So I don't see how a union member can discipline another union member. And technically, the manual says a supervisor must write somebody up. A supervisor, it's just a language thing. So technically, for me, supervisor at that moment, we're changing the language to say responsibility falls on the superintendent.
I have a problem with that, but a foreman and a supervisor are 2 different titles.
Okay.
A foreman is in charge of a project that a supervisor gives him to do.
I don't disagree. I just want to change it to the terminology that we employ those individuals.
I agree. They should never be referred to as a supervisor.
Right.
They're not that.
But if a foreman is supervising a crew, the superintendent, let's say, is not there, one would argue they're supervising at that moment. It's just to clarify the exact confusion we may have now. The leaders of those particular departments are called superintendents, therefore the language is simply changing to use that word. Okay?
Any other departments?
Excuse me.
Any other departments we have supervisors?
Well, department heads is the other terminology already there, so I just use the word superintendent when it comes to sewer, water, and our DPW. Everyone else is led by a department head. Okay,
Fine.
yeah. Just we'll make things easier. I'm sorry, should I have a motion?
You gotta make a motion.
I need a motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? And I need a roll call, please.
Councilmember Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yasti.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato. Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Now I need adoption resolution 2014-7.4, authorizing payment to Phil Barrett and Frank Seminaro for recent water main repairs. We had 4 breaks at Starlake Road, Ann Street, and Oak Street. Total Phil Barrett, $2,820. Andrew Place, $3337.50. Hamburg Turnpike, up by the Stumble Inn, $1,800. Total there, $7957.50. Then we had 2125 to Frank Seminaro, who does our finding of the breaks and has the equipment to do just that. So again, we're just authorizing those emergency payments that have to be done. So I need that motion, please.
So moved.
Second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Yasti.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato. Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson. Yes. Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item I, I already referenced in my report, hazardous mitigation, $75,000. Copied on the letter of our award. We get a 10th, and I'll report back after I have a meeting with the OEM state coordinator to see where we can move forward and how we can spend that money. Item J, adoption resolution 2014 7.5, amending the budget, chapter 159 for our municipal alliance grant, in the amount of $16,792. Who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Next item, a motion for resolution 2014 7.6, authorizing purchase of equipment or services under the Morris County Co-op for capital improvement project. This is particularly for our road paving, not to exceed $335,000. And I need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Costa.
Yes.
Tomato.
Favor all the DPW.
So yes to everything, no to DPW. Okay.
Del Rippe.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sandemeyer.
Yes, and no to DPW.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, adoption resolution 2014 7.7, authorizing purchase of equipment under the Somerset Co-op. This will be a 2015 Dodge Ram 1500 pickup with plow. This is replacing our superintendent's Dodge Durango, which will be given to our fire police. Because our police car is fairly well, right? Assistant chief's car, which is seen its last days. We won't see these new vehicles till October-ish by the time things work out, but we need to move on. 2015 Dodge Mason with plow, not to exceed $77,500. Again, on our 10-year auto replacement plan, this is a needed replacement, as well as the back body, which the council member have inspected and agreed that just the rock is beyond repair. So who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Tomato.
Yes.
Del Rippe.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
This one was authorized. This is Boston, not Boston. Bear with me 1 second, please. That's why we weren't doing two at one time. We're good. Yep, okay. This is the authorization to Kopesky Corporation, need a motion for 14.7.8 in the amount of $36,000 for Boston Street culvert. This does not include Knowles, so I'll have to check because we're not doing two in one. This is definitely for Boston Street culvert. Under the threshold for one project. Who makes that motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Del Rippe.
Yes.
Hudson. Yes. Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to move them together, though. I need adoption resolution 2014 7.9 and 10. One is for the purchase of curb boxes in the amount of $16,408 for replacement throughout town, including primarily Rafferty Road, and the purchase of the amount of $14,322 from Norris Sales Company Shore Panels, which I've been lobbying for a long time to get these on. These are walls that are put in the hole when our utility company is working in such, and just basically we never had them. This is so overdue, and they'll be here by the end of the week. Who makes that motion? Assuming that that's
So moved.
Any further discussion?
Question.
Yeah, please.
On the bills list, we approved the curb boxes for capital supply in the amount of 13,000, roughly 100 curb boxes.
Right, this is just memorialized, we have to have a resolution on the books. It's not 13 plus 16, Mike?
This is not another free.
No. It's just memorializing, the orders require a resolution for those kind of expenditures.
Gotcha. That's under the amount where internally was already done.
Okay, there's still a motion on. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Hudson.
Yes.
Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes. And then please, motion for resolution 2014 7.11 through 7.15, tax title liens. Who makes that motion?
Did you skip one?
Did I miss one?
Police check?
Sorry?
Oh.
Actually,
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
isn't O related to the contract? So we should probably hold it too.
Yeah, that, we're going to table that. I don't have that. Do you have that?
We should not change that until we...
Right, we'll move it up to the next one. Now, this is if another community seeks traffic control by our police department, it shall be at the discretion and recommendation of the chief based on manpower availability authorized. Such activities must be consistent with the borough PDA contractual guidelines. The borough shall administer this arrangement, however, the participating community will be assessed $15 an hour administration fee. That was the contractual. We need to move this. So I'm going to go back and ask for resolution 214 7.11. It's a resolution authorizing the borough of Bloomingdale to provide police services to other communities. Who makes that motion?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Hudson.
I'm sorry, Jane, can I get a copy of this? Is that
It's authorizing us to provide police community at the chief's discretion to other police services to other communities when needed. And we have a fee ordinance, we have identified order fees. This is adding a $15 administrative fee to cover our costs of doing so. It's something I believe we were doing, but the auditors picked up and we need to memorialize it with the resolution. Everybody good? I'm sorry. You got a motion?
No, I didn't finish roll call.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato.
Yes.
Delariva.
Yes.
Item P, adoption resolution 2014 7.12 through 7.16, tax title liens. Who makes that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Sandemeyer.
Yes.
Yazdi.
Yes.
Costa.
Yes.
Tomato. Delariva.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Okay, item Q, there is no need for discussion at this time. This is the contractor for the applied water main lines, which I'm sure we're proceeding soon with a pre-construction meeting, but there's no discussion needed at this time. I need a motion to open to link public hearing. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to speak, please come up and say your name and address for the record. How are you?
Hello, my name is actually Annie Cologne with JCP&L.
Yes.
I'm the area manager
Oh,
of Bloomingdale. So I want to say good evening to everyone, introduce myself. I did bring a brochure, just try to remind everybody for storm preparation. So this brochure here, it's tips for managing power outages. I know we have a very small percentage in Bloomingdale.
Right.
I am responsible actually for 19 towns. I have Morris County, Passaic County, I have 5 towns in Passaic County. And I just want to introduce myself, anything you need, I have a business card and...
No, I appreciate you waiting. It's good. I just received the annual questionnaire as far as responding with who's the contact person that you just sent out.
And I made a few phone calls, but I figured I'm just going to show up and just say hello.
How many customers do you actually have?
I don't have it memorized, it's over 300 at least, in that range.
Is that the Snake Lake Road area?
Yeah. I don't have, I did drop off the circuit map with the department, however, I have another copy so I can provide that to the town, where it shows the circuits and the substation that you're servicing here. It's a very small percentage, but your still, this is important to anyone
No, I
else.
appreciate that. I appreciate kindness. Good. Thank you. Well, leave that if we would,
And my business card for
and I will keep that
All right,
safe
thank you.
place. Thank you for being here.
Sure.
Anyone else, please?
Jennifer Walfield, 17 Cedar Street. I've been seeing signs for edge lawn service popping up all over town, and they're supposed to be cleaning the roads.
Yes.
There are 5 roads or 6 roads, I understand,
No,
where their signs are.
there are 6 signs on 3 roads. County roads, but cleaning what's considered the borough right away on the side of those roads, which is allowed for clean communities. That costs $260 for the signs that clean communities pay for. Entirely my brainchild, entirely an idea I had for 2 reasons. I'm tired of looking at the litter. I'm tired of waiting on the sheriff's department to get here because the sheriff, although it's still active, severely cut the SLAP program because it's all done in overtime. And when SLAP comes, I'll still take it. But in the interim, I reached out to a local landscaper. It was in New Bedford. 2 gentlemen who are on our volunteer fire department and saw if they wanted to have interest, and certainly they did. And here's the community's guidelines, which allows me to do so. Adopt a highway is federal highways. There's different rules and regulations, or it is a voluntary basis. The clean communities actually allows me to pay labor, which I do not. This is simply a sign, one-time posting, and keeping us as litter-free as we can be.
No, I understand that, but it seems to me that it would be advertising for the company.
Absolutely.
Free advertising.
Absolutely. Of course it is. That's why they're cleaning the roads.
And taxpayer dollars.
Clean communities.
It's taxpayer dollars.
And it's an eligible expenditure in the grant. And I implore you to take the guideline. Thank you.
I have a question then as far as corporate vehicles being parked on private property.
Commercial vehicles on private property, again, memory serves, I don't have the exact, I believe it's based on weight. I want to say 10,000 or greater, and I don't hold me to it. But as I stated to you before the meeting, if you have an issue, you can do one of many things. You can email me the specific issue. You can go to our website, which has a service tag, service request, and I will get that request, your work order to the right department, or reach out to Robert Westlake, our property maintenance officer.
Okay.
And he'll be as diligent as can be
Okay.
to enforce such an infraction.
I thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Anyone else?
I just want to clarify, you said the amount for the Pesca flood, like their grant, their award, how much?
Kopeski's for Boston, not to exceed 36. I think the estimate, is in the book, the exact estimate? I believe it was $35,000, $85, something to that. If you want to just call Jay Lamar, I can email a copy of the proposal. But it's not to exceed 36. It's just for Boston. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mayor, members of council, City Walk, as you can, sir.
My little league fan.
Rory Lovelace, of course, is fairly out including you. I came a little late to the meeting today. I had a doctor's appointment. I wanted to hear more on was about the presentation of this CIS award signs that are going to go into effect. I just wondered, did you have any other material that you can distribute?
Yeah. Matter of fact, George,
Oh,
as long as you promise to give this back, I'll part with this and give it back to you by next week.
I've started a new job.
But here, you know what? Here's their website. They're called Community Electronic Information Systems.
And also one word.
But the website is www.ceisIGNS.com. CEISIGNS.com.
Okay.
And this is something we're looking at. You know, these are, what do you say, 6 foot by 16 digital signs that we can have, 1 or 4, 0 cost to the borough. There's 7 panels. We get one of them for public announcements. The other 6 they sell for advertising. That's how it's free to us because they're making money in advertising. And then if there's an amber alert, silver alert, weather alert, that overrides the whole system. That's what's paramount for 24 hours.
My major concern with that meeting is possible traffic accidents that might occur.
But, you go go to the website, there's data on those studies, how they show that it doesn't affect it. But it's something, we're in the early stages, but something I'm very interested in. Yeah, it should be good.
And the other thing was, when was the groundbreaking supposed to occur with the bridge area?
Well, I don't have an exact date. I would say sometime within the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Say month, yeah.
I'm glad. Everyone's sure.
It's gonna be nice, clean, rateable.
Oh, absolutely. Then it goes to the ground, we get great thinkers over here. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rory, very much. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing no one, motion to close. Okay, I'd like to thank you, everybody, and there's no need for the executive session this evening.
No.
And we have an August 19th meeting, September 9th work session, we're clean up August 23rd. Thank you all, motion to adjourn. All in favor?